The Ugly Duckling Story. The story begins once upon a time. In the season of spring, the sun was shining brightly in the sky, sending warm rays down to the earth. The wheat in the fields began to grow under the warm sunlight. The fruit on the trees ripened. All the birds in nature had laid their eggs. Sheep had given birth to lambs, and cows to calves. Our hero, a mother duck, was sitting by the lake among the reeds, keeping her eggs warm. She spread her wings wide and patiently waited for her babies to hatch. But waiting was hard for her. Sometimes she watched around, sometimes sang to herself, and sometimes read storybooks. After finishing the story of Cinderella, time seemed to stand still. She longed to meet her little ones soon. Suddenly, she heard a cracking sound. She looked down at her eggs. The eggs were moving. The babies were trying to break the shells with their tiny beaks. The mother duck stood up excitedly and started watching. One by one, the eggs cracked, and the babies poked their heads out. However, one egg was still silent. The ugly duckling hatches. While the other ducklings were running around happily, the mother duck sat back down to keep the last egg warm. Soon enough, it started to crack too, and finally, the last baby hatched. But this baby was very different from the others. Its color, size, beak, and face were unlike the rest. It was, in fact, a bit ugly. But the mother duck couldn't say that to her precious baby. She thought, he's just a little different, and she was right. The little one was only different, but we often call what's unfamiliar ugly, which is very wrong. Our baby's siblings thought so too. When they saw the new baby was not like them, they called him the ugly duckling. They said, "Your feathers aren't bright yellow like ours. They're gray like ashes. Your beak isn't orange, it's almost black. You look so strange." Even the mother duck's friends were surprised. The oldest said, "Maybe a turkey's egg got mixed in with your eggs. He can't even swim in the lake." But the mother duck protected her baby and said, "He's not an ugly duckling, he's just different." She took all her babies to the lake to swim. The ducklings happily flapped their wings and jumped into the water. The mother duck smiled and said, "Here's my baby, swimming so well. He's definitely not a turkey." Different birds at the lake. Everything seemed fine. One day, he couldn't stand it anymore and decided to leave early in the morning. He walked for many days, feeling sad because he was different and ugly. He was afraid of everyone and didn't want to get close to anyone. After a long journey, he came to another lake. There were many kinds of birds there: stork babies, pelicans, seagulls, geese, even terns and sandpipers. Thin-beaked, colorful, chubby, or skinny babies, everyone was different. Nobody thought being different meant being ugly. Our so-called ugly duckling decided to stay there. He found a quiet corner and lived there quietly. The birds were all friendly, but the little duck still thought he was ugly, so he spent most of his time alone. Winter passed, spring came again. The duckling had grown quite a lot. A great transformation. One day, A flock of beautiful birds he had never seen before flew toward the lake. They landed on the water and started swimming. The duckling thought, "Wow, how beautiful they are." They had white feathers, long and slender necks, and shiny eyes. The little duck watched them in awe. One of the new birds saw him and called out, "Hey, swan brother, why are you standing there all alone? Come join us." The duckling didn't realize they were talking to him at first. He looked around, but there was no one else nearby. When he understood the voice was for him, he felt shy and bowed his head almost into the water. Then he saw his own reflection and was shocked. He looked again and again at the image in the water. He looked just like those beautiful swans, white feathers, long and slender neck. Not an ugly duckling, a beautiful swan. The oldest and wisest bird at the lake, a tern named Sumru, came to him and said, "Here they come, your brothers and sisters. I hope you won't be alone anymore." The duckling asked with surprise, "My brothers and sisters?" Sumru answered, "Yes, little one. Haven't you been waiting for them? I have been watching you from afar. You have grown into a beautiful swan. I was worried you would be lonely, but the swans come to this lake every spring. Now it's your time. Go and join your own kind."